Welcome to Vindicta for Dummies. These are the stats you're going to want to get before trying to solo Vindicta. You can melee as well, but magic is easier. You're going to want a tier 80 weapon. Chaotics only take about an hour to get, and you're going to need half a brain and any shield. I highly recommend you get a desert amulet 2 or higher for easy access and banking. Vampires more if you're just learning, and maniacal once you get used to it. Now I'm going to show you a kill with 99 magic and defense with no potions or boosts just to show you that this is doable with relatively low stats. And as you can see, I'm just wearing War Priest for the Chaotic Staff and the Vampire's Moral. As long as your stats aren't super low, you can easily do this without any food, unless you fuck up. Now Vindicta has 2 phases, and phase 2 starts the moment he drops under 100,000 life points. He, she, whatever. In the first phase, Vindicta is going to auto attack 3 times, followed by a spin attack, and then 2 more auto attacks, and then the purple fire attack. It helps to look at the hit splats on your character rather than Vindicta's animations itself when you're trying to count the attacks, since the animations can be slightly glitchy. There's also a long pause in between his 2 auto attacks after the spin, so don't be fooled by those. It's a good idea to start running right before the purple fire comes, and if you surge or escape on the same tick as the purple fire, 9 times out of 10 it will just get you out of it and you won't take any damage whatsoever. If you do end up standing in the purple fire though, you will take rapid magic damage, so be careful. As you can see, as soon as he goes under 100,000 life points, his dragon will come and phase 2 will start. Now his attack rotation is going to completely change. He's going to start with this melee attack, and then he's going to do a range attack, and then he's going to do another melee attack, and then he's going to fly to one of the 4 corners of the map, and then do the purple fire attack, which you can completely avoid by running perpendicularly to Vindicta's location. And then he just repeats that same rotation over and over until he dies. It's important to know that Vindicta's ranged attack is extremely strong and can do upwards of 4,000 damage if you don't pray against it. What this also means is that you can get huge reses off of it. Each rotation in phase 2 is exactly 15 seconds, and Resonance's cooldown is 30 seconds, which means every other rotation you will be able to resonance the range attack for that massive heal. Sometimes the cooldown can look really close and you won't know whether you're actually going to get it off in time, but just trust the cooldown, because if you got it off last time, you will get it off next time as well. When your resonance is on cooldown, you just use your devotion or your debilitate, one at a time. Don't forget to switch your prayers when you're not rezzing. One thing to note is that Vindicta's attacks are based on time, so if Vindicta is out of melee range when his melee attack is supposed to go off, he will actually just completely skip that attack and go straight to his range attack. So Vindicta doesn't actually do melee, range, melee, purple fire. He does melee, melee, range, melee, purple fire, but you don't get hit by that first melee attack most of the time because he's out of range. Now let me give you a couple more tips for killing Vindicta. If you start the first kill of each trip with 0 adrenaline, it can be a little bit messy, so I suggest you build up some adrenaline on the monsters outside of the boss room before you enter. Likewise, you should try to stall your adrenaline in between kills with your freedom, your anticipation, and your surge. Then you can keep your vulnerability spell queued, and then as soon as Vindicta spawns, you turn on your prayers, you cast the vulnerability, and then you turn on your devotion, and then you can use a Gothic Staff special if you have that. And then you can use a threshold ability if you have the adrenaline to spare. I usually use wild cards. The most important thing is to make sure you have 100% adrenaline at the end of the first rotation, so you can surge away from the purple fire and immediately cast Sunshine. It's fine if you didn't bring any vulnerability casts or don't have a Gothic Staff. They're not necessary, but they do help, so I would suggest you get those. So here you can see me using my Sunlight, and then now he's going to do his 3 melee attacks. And then I'm going to turn off my prayers and use my resonance to heal off of his spin attack, which does more damage than his other attacks. Now I'm going to want to have 50% adrenaline before he does his next purple attack. And I'm going to step out of my Sunlight for just 1 moment to guide his purple fire attack outside of it, and then I'm going to go back in and cast my Asphyxiate. The reason why it's important to have 50% adrenaline to be able to cast your Asphyxiate is because Vindicta has this habit of walking into you and forcing your character to move around a bit. And that can either push you out of your Sunlight, or it can push you into the fire, which can be really annoying. But when you're casting Asphyxiate, your character can't move, and Vindicta isn't going to be able to push you out of your Sunlight or into the fire. Now this is the 3rd rotation, and I should have my devotion up again. There we go. And I'm just going to keep DPSing him down, rotating between resonance, devotion, and debilitate for each one of Vindicta's rotations. You want to make sure you have one of these defensive abilities available as soon as Vindicta goes into his 2nd phase. So pay attention to Vindicta's HP bar, and if he's about to transform into a second phase, hold on to your defensive abilities for a little bit. I usually try to make sure I have my res up for Vindicta's first range attack, and then if I have a choice, I would follow that up with a devotion into another res. One of the things you're going to want to keep in mind in phase 2 is to stay away from the purple fire a little bit. Like, don't stand just next to it, because Vindicta again is going to push you into it if you're standing too close. Some other things to note include the fact that you're going to really want to get your reputation up before you start killing Vindicta a lot. And the easiest way to do that is to use the Corruption Shot and Corruption Blast abilities that you can get from Mazgab raids. You can find out more about the raids as well as how the reputation system in God Wars Dungeon 2 works on the wiki. Otherwise, I suggest you get started and just start practicing, because that's the only way you're ever going to get good at this shit. You're going to make mistakes and you're going to fuck up. I would start by bringing more food and less prayer potions and just try to get a couple kills each trip, and as you get used to it, you can start bringing more prayer potions to last longer and less food. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me what you want to see next.